magnificent day at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium just outside our nation's capital. The NFL on CBS presents the 5-7 San Diego Chargers and the 3-9 Washington Redskins. And hello everyone, Bill Macatee along with John Dockery. And Doc, the Chargers entertaining slim playoff hopes. If they get there, it'll be the defense that takes them.
If they run the table, win the next 4, they got a shot at the playoffs. And of course, they get it done with defense. The #1 defense in the NFL, led by perhaps the best linebacker of a decade, in a defense designed to make this Warrior shine.
Meanwhile, not a lot has gone right for the Redskins this year. They will, however, have Terry Allen back, and Trent Green has been a pleasant surprise.
Terry Allen may take some pressure off the quarterback, Trent Green. He's back after 4 weeks with an ankle injury. But if the Redskins are to win today, it has to be their quarterback, Trent Green, getting it done. Over the last 5 weeks, he's been spectacular. Last week, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions in a win over against Oakland.
So the Chargers and the Redskins coming up. Here in suburban Maryland, 72 degrees, and we're told the current temperature in San Diego is 60 degrees and rainy. The Redskins have won the toss. Brian Mitchell, very dangerous. He opened with a 57-yard return, which led to a touchdown last week against the Raiders. And John Carney is set to kick it off for San Diego. Mitchell takes it at the 2. Falls across the 20, and that's where the Redskins will take over 1st and 10. Trent Green started the season as the #3 quarterback. His numbers pretty impressive. 17 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions, and they've been outstanding in the last 5 weeks.
In the last 5 weeks, Trent Green has had even better statistics. 10 touchdowns, only 1 interception, as the Washington Redskins have won 3 of their last 5 games back.
Westbrook is split wide to the right side. Terry Allen is the deep back, and they run a reverse on the first play. Leslie Shepard, and he's got some room across the 30, makes the move, and gets out across the 45, down at the 46 by Junior Seau.
A trademark of Norv Turner at Dallas, creative offense. And if you're playing against the #1 defense in the NFL, what do you start off with? Well, a reverse. Look at this good play here. Shepard brings it around the outside. The defense with that great pursuit going the other direction. Shepard picks up a whole bunch of yards.
A gain of 25. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 46. Motion, that's Steven Alexander. Short drop for Green, complete to Westbrook at midfield, and he's driven back. The Redskins on offense up front, injuries have been a problem. Corey Raymer has been the only consistent starter. The Redskins have averaged almost 30 points a game the last 5 weeks. We mentioned Terry Allen is back, but expect to see Skip Hicks and Brian Mitchell. Davis is a threat to catch it out of the backfield. There's Norv Turner, 5th season as the head coach of the Redskins. Allen, 2nd effort, gets it down perhaps to the 47 into San Diego territory. Here's that Charger defense, #1 in the NFL up front. They've been quiet but effective. Junior Seau is having his best year ever. Kurt Govea, the former Redskin. Rodney Harrison leads the secondary. Charles Demery picked off John Elway twice last week. So 3rd and 4 from the 48. Brian Mitchell has checked in. Shepard in motion. Green. And a flag is down. He tried to hit Leslie Shepard. And let's check the penalty. Preliminary signal, holding against the Redskins. So that'll bring up 4th down and bring out the punting unit.
Holding. Number 74 of the offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Ron Winter, our referee today. Matt Turk, who has a net of 40.7, which leads the NFL. Out to punt it, back deep for the Chargers. Tony Gator, newly acquired, lets it go. And it'll be a touchback. 48-yard punt. And no return. So the Chargers will have their first possession at the 20. Just underway, Chargers and Redskins. June Jones began the season as the Chargers quarterback coach, and he feels that this game is important if he's going to get a shot next year and get that interim taken away from his title.
Of course, he replaced Kevin Gilbride, who was let go in the 7th game of the season for the Chargers.
Two wide receivers to the left. Now they bring over the tight end, Freddie Jones. Terrell Fletcher, the lone setback. Fletcher gets the call and picks up 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Derek Smith made the stop. Craig Whelihan. His numbers: 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, but under 50% completions. And Charger offense up front. Aaron Taylor comes over from Green Bay. McKenzie, the longtime Redskin, at the skill positions. Fletcher starts again for Natron Means. Jones and Ricks, the rookie, are the wideouts. Whelihan to Fletcher, kicking his way for a first down across the 30, and bowls his way across the 35. Stanley Richard and Marcus Patton combined to make the stop after a gain of 11. The Redskin defense, they rank 29th in the league against the run. Wilkinson has been steady, not spectacular. Marcus Patton has been solid. Greg Jones starts again this week for Ken Harvey, who's out. Darrell Green continues to be amazing. And Stanley Richard is the ex-Charger. Gain of 12 after the spot. They will operate 1st and 10 from the 36. Whelihan straight back. Caught by Jones, and that's another San Diego first down.
Greg Whelihan talking to us yesterday was talking about Charlie Jones as his favorite go-to receiver. And he's going against a 38-year-old defensive back in the league, 16 years, Darrell Green. Green kind of turned his body, expecting Jones to go inside. Jones cut outside, ball well thrown, first down.
So a pickup of 11 now after the spot. 1st and 10 from the 47. Whelihan will work out of the shotgun. Draw to Fletcher. Got some room. And another first down. Driven out of bounds by Darrell Pounds. So San Diego moving the football on their first possession.
San Diego at 5 and 7, looking for a playoff shot, has to run the table, win 4. Fletcher has to be the man on the ground because you mentioned it before. Natron Means out. Possibly can come back before the year's over, but it's really going to be June Jones going to Terrell Fletcher to get the ground game going for San Diego.
1st and 10 from the 42. Fletcher. They keep running it, and he's stopped after a gain of 2 at the 40. Doug Brown made the tackle.
And this is exactly what June Jones would like from his Charger offense. He has a quarterback in Craig Whelihan, who you don't want to put all the pressure on him. He's just not. Obviously, Ryan Leaf was sat down in the middle of the year when June Jones came in. For Ryan Leaf's own protection, Whelihan took over his 2-1 as a starter for the Chargers.
Fletcher, 4 carries, 29 yards. Whelihan will again operate out of the shotgun. That time, play action. And he throws it away. Intended for the rookie, Michael Ricks. So 3rd and 8 from the 40. Redskins, after that 0-7 start, 3-2 in their last 5 games, and really have improved scoring and the turnover ratio.
The turnover ratio has been key for Norv Turner. His quarterback has settled down. His team has settled down. And to his credit, he didn't let them just phone in this season. They are, as we mentioned, won 3 of their last 5 games.
4 wide receivers in the game for San Diego. Whelihan. Caught. Another first down. Ryan Thelwell and Darrell Green had the coverage. Green drove him out of bounds.
Green was all over him. This was great coverage by the 38-year-old quarterback. Thewell, and the throw by Whelihan is just right where it should be. And then the bigger receiver at 6'2", Thewell, against a 5'8" Green. Thewell goes up and gets it first down.
Pickup of 11. Thewell is the rookie free agent out of the University of Minnesota. His numbers this season. So from the 29, motion from Jones. Fletcher dips it inside and picks up 8. It'll be 2nd and 2. Marcus Patton told us he has an awful lot of respect for Terrell Fletcher. He says he's very quick and he makes a lot of guys miss. And it was Patton who made the stop after the pickup of 8.
Well, Fletcher's really one of those double threat backs. He's a slasher. He can run the ball well, pick up yards as you just saw him do then, but he's also terrific coming out of the backfield. Good hands, runs good routes.
8 plays in the drive thus far. 2nd and 2 from the 21. 2 wide receivers to the left side. Fletcher. And he bulls his way to another San Diego first down. Again, it was Marcus Patton who made the stop.
Take a look at this. We'll see he tries to cut back against the grain, but it's the middleman, Patton, who sees the runner and cuts back to make the tackle. Patton outstanding in the middle.
But another Charger first down. So they'll operate 1st and 10 from the 16. Wendell Davis, the H-back, is joined Fletcher, who gets the call. Takes it to the outside and gets down to just inside the 15 before Greg Jones brought him down.
And Evans was on the blitz, a strong safety, with Washington simply saying, hey, we can't just let him pick us apart and run the ball like that. They came with the blitz. Evans clogged the hole. Short gain for San Diego.
Well, the Chargers have not been outstanding in the red zone. 12th in the AFC. After the pickup of 1, it's 2nd and 9. Whelihan off the play action. Kind of slings it in there. Caught by Fletcher at about the 13.
Caught by Fletcher. Did you see that one-hand grab? Puts up his left hand and just reels it in. Perhaps he might have been better off not making that completion because it didn't go for much. So it sets up about a 3rd and 6 situation, but a good catch by Fletcher.
Brian Still has checked in for San Diego. Redskins have won all 5 previous meetings. They haven't played in almost a decade. Ricks and Jones are split to the left side. 3rd and 7. Whelihan buys some time. Plenty of it. Throws it away. Brian Still had a shot at it, but couldn't get up at 5'11" and make the catch.
June Jones will take that by his quarterback anytime. You see the receiver working in the end zone. That's Brian Still. He has no room in there. The ball is high, thrown too high with Chris Dishman all over him. So Whelihan did the wise thing by simply throwing it away, avoids a turnover.
So John Carney is on to try a 32-yard field goal. He's made 18 of 20 tries this year with a long of 54. This from 32. And the Chargers are on the board. So with 6:20 left in the first quarter, 3-0 San Diego.
On CBS is sponsored by Cadillac and your local Cadillac dealers. 10-10-220. And by the United States Marine Corps, the change is forever.
Welcome back to Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. John Carney, after the 32-yard field goal, set to kick it off. 13-play drive, 67 yards, 6 minutes, 19 seconds. Brian Mitchell and James Thrash back deep for Washington. Mitchell takes it at the 3. Across the 15, across the 20. A flag is down, and so is Mitchell at the 33. Tackled by James Burgess after a return of 30 yards. But let's check the penalty. Holding against the Redskins. Norv Turner told us he won it today.
Number 27 of the return team. A 10-yard penalty. First down.
Evans. So the Redskins will start back at the 18 when we return. First and 10 for the Redskins from the 18. A flag. Free play for Trent Green, and it's caught for a first down out at the 35. Let's check the penalty after the pickup of 18, and there's a Redskin down. It's Michael Westbrook.
It looked like the penalty was against the San Diego Chargers. Coleman, the right end, appeared to be offsides. Pass was well thrown. Westbrook made the catch, and then, as you can see, still down on the field, Michael Westbrook, in
Offside.
4th year out of Colorado.
Number 90 of the defense. Penalties declined.
Westbrook just on the out pattern. Goes up and makes a good catch, and then let's see if we can see what happened. He seems to go down on his head and his right shoulder. Hard to see what was happening. It was Demery on the coverage there, and you just have to wait and see.
After the pickup of 18, and they've shown the replay here in the stadium. That's the crowd's reaction. Timeout on the field. We'll return after this.
On CBS is sponsored by Intrigue by Oldsmobile and by Pizza Hut, home of the stuffed crust pizza, the most fun you can have with a pizza.
Well, next weekend, CBS Sports goes to Melbourne, Australia.
Playing to Australia after this for the President's Cup, and this is the replay of Michael Westbrook. The play he was hurt on. Demery on the coverage goes way up and makes a good catch, and then watch his head hit the ground right there. And I'd be speculating, but it appears as though he might have hit the ground with his head and maybe a little woozy. They're still attending to former #1 draft choice 4 years ago, and Michael Westbrook now getting up. You hear the crowd applaud, and
so does Charles Demery.
Yes.
Probably relieved himself.
And you know, it's ironic, Bill, talking to Norv Turner and the coaching staff of the Washington Redskins yesterday about Michael Westbrook. They were saying, you know, he's had an inconsistent year, but it's really the first year he's been healthy for a full season, and now he's suffering from some kind of injury, and Norv Turner concerned.
Demery over there to give him a pat on the back. Westbrook caught a career high 10 passes and 3 touchdowns 2 weeks ago against Arizona. Had a couple of receptions against the Raiders.
Man with so much potential. I mean, people in the Redskin organization just waiting for Michael Westbrook to fill that potential. 6'3", 220 pounds, terrific speed, good hands, has it all. Just hasn't been able to stay healthy and put it together in his 4-year career.
And we'll try to get a report on Westbrook as soon as we can. Pass that along to you. So after the pickup of 12, it'll be 1st and 10 from the 36. I formation. Jenkins in motion. Green trying to throw the screen. He gets it complete. Close to a first down. Kurt Gobea made the stop on Terry Allen.
Terry Allen just back after 4 weeks with an ankle injury. Nice screen pass. As North Turner said, hey, we can't go head-to-head with the best defense in the NFL. We're going to use Terry Allen and look at him as a pass catcher. He's a good one. And pick up that first down on the screen pass.
Gain of 11. 1st and 10 from the 47. Allen, the lone setback. Again, Jenkins, the man in motion. Play action. Green trying to take it up top to Shepard, who throws it behind him. Jimmy Spencer had the coverage. Spencer starting for the injured Terrence Shaw.
And you know what? Had that ball been thrown sooner and better, Shepard had some distance beyond Spencer, and it would have been a touchdown. Just a very poorly thrown ball. Poor communication between the receiver and the quarterback.
Norv Turner told us he expected Leslie Shepard to have a big game today. 2 catches for 55 yards, including a 43-yard touchdown last week against the Raiders. Allen is the deep back. 2nd and 10. Nothing there. Stephen Davis, who's really playing out of position, is the fullback, and this is what San Diego has done against the run. They've been awfully tough against some talented running backs.
Talented running backs, to say the least. Look at Eddie George, a big, strong back. But down here, this is the one that's most impressive. The best running back in the NFL, Terrell Davis. They faced him twice. He got 74 one day and 69 the other. This is a man that averages, close to 150 yards a game.
So 3rd down at 10. And complete to Mitchell. And let's see if they rule that he trapped it. Rodney Harrison had the coverage for the Chargers.
The pass is ruled complete. Pass is complete on the field.
James Thrash made the catch. Let's take another look.
James Thrash goes down, and it's a good catch. I mean, he was surrounded by Chargers. Ball was well thrown. Harrison tries to rip it out, but no dice.
Meanwhile, Michael Westbrook, off to the locker room. 1st and 10. Allen up the middle. Pulls his way for a gain of 2. 2nd and 8.
Do you hear those sounds? Can you hear the sounds of the popping in there? I mean, when they play defense, San Diego Chargers, they play defense. Top defense in the NFL, best against the run. You saw that graphic. If you're a runner, you're going to have a real hard time going over 100 yards against the best defense in the NFL, against the rush.
And they're telling us that Westbrook suffered a jammed neck and that his return is questionable. 2nd and 8 after the gain of 2. Davis is the fullback. Allen is the deep back. Green off the play action. Shepard makes the catch for another Washington 1st down.
Shepard had no option but to make the catch because the ball was thrown with good velocity and would have stuck in his shoulder pads if he didn't. That is a beautiful thrown pass by Trent Green. He works inside, tries to get the back to bite. He doesn't bite, and look at how well thrown that ball was. Jimmy Spencer had excellent coverage. It was just a great throw by Trent Green.
Gain of 12, 1st and 10 from the 27, and the Redskins are moving it on the NFL's #1 defense. Davis in motion. It's Allen, right side, nice hole, inside the 20. Rodney Harrison made the stop.
You know, with Michael Westbrook out, they're going to be forced to do more of what they did there. Use 2 tight ends, tough running. Watch they close down the right side, and then Allen gets outside and just pile drives up the middle, 5'10", 210 pounds. He does that so well. Such a physical runner between the tackles.
Dragging Gerald Dixon with him, who weighs in at 250. Look at this drive. 8 plays thus far. Skip Hicks has now checked in for the Redskins. He's the deep back. Davis is in motion, and Hicks gets it, bounces it to the outside, and is close to another 1st down. Rodney Harrison trips him up.
And if Rodney Harrison doesn't trip him up, the strong safety, Skip Hicks is gone. It's Norv Turner trying to keep the defense off balance. You come with the body puncher, Terry Allen. You try and soften up the defense, and then you give it to Hicks, the speedster, to the outside. And but for that tackle for Harrison, he was gone.
Well, 3rd and 3. Redskins in the red zone. Haven't been bad.
Pretty effective.
Third in the NFC. Brian Mitchell is in, and flags are down.
Prior to the snap, 74, false start, 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Brad Badger, the left guard.
It's interesting that Norv Turner is keeping the defense off balance. He's using 3 different backs, and they're all entirely different. Terry Allen is that pounder, that physical back. Skip Evans, the rookie out of UCLA, can fly to the outside. And Brian Mitchell is just elusive whenever you give him any room. So Turner just changing up in the backs in the hopes of keeping that San Diego defense off balance.
So 3rd and 8. That's what the Redskins have done on 3rd down. Trying to draw the Chargers off. They may have succeeded. Green to a wide open James Thrash. But let's check the flag.
And you're saying, how did James Thrash get that wide open? Because Rodney Harrison, the strong safety.
Defense, penalty decline, touchdown.
Chargers were offside, touchdown Redskins.
And boy, Trent Green just hung in there. But what didn't happen was a strong safety, number 37, Rodney Harrison, stopped on the play and allowed James Thrash to just be all by himself in the end zone.
First touchdown reception of the year for James Thrash in his 2nd year out of Missouri Southern. The extra point by Kerry Blanchard is up and good. 7-3. Washington with 49 seconds left to play in the first quarter. After the 25-yard touchdown catch by James Thrash, 10-play drive. Took 5.5 minutes, and the Redskins lead it 7-3. Brett Conway kicks it off for Washington. Tony Gator will take it. Cuts back across the field. Finds some room to the outside and runs out of bounds at the 23.
Washington's touchdown. Take a look at from the high end zone view of it, and 2 of the linebackers for the San Diego Chargers are offside, Dixon and Sayal. And watch after Green throws that ball. He's hit by Dixon, but still gets it off. Thrash is wide open because the strong safety bit on the fake and was looking in the backfield and wasn't anywhere near. He thought the penalty was against Washington. Rodney Harrison did.
On that drive, Trent Green was 5 of 6 for 78 yards. Terrell Fletcher, the lone setback. Whelihan to Fletcher, who's got some room. Stumbles and driven out of bounds right at the first down marker by Marcus Patton and Doug Brown.
That's close.
And coming up on the NASDAQ Amex halftime report, join Jim Nance, Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, and Michael Lombardi for all the scores and highlights, plus a preview of Kansas City and Denver. That's all coming up on the NASDAQ Amex halftime report.
Remember the last game between Kansas City and Denver? Wow. When Derek Thomas had all those problems. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. You wonder if Denver's going to go undefeated. It certainly looks that way, but they better watch themselves against Kansas City today.
From the 33, what should be the final play of the first quarter. Fletcher picks up maybe one before he was stopped by Marcus Patton. So that's the end of the first quarter with the score. The Redskins 7, the Chargers 3. We'll return to Jack Kent Cooke Stadium after this message. Second down as we start the second quarter from the 33 for the Chargers. 3 wide receivers in for San Diego. Terrell Fletcher is the lone setback. Fletcher Stopped at the 34 and pushed back.
You know, Bill, when you look at these teams, there are two backup quarterbacks projected starting for San Diego and Washington. For San Diego is supposed to be this man, Ryan Leaf, out of Washington State, the #2 pick in the draft with all of that talent. Didn't work out. He was replaced in week 9 by Craig Whelihan, and I think it was a great move because he was just coming apart at the seams, and he needed to step back, get some perspective, and not alienate all of his teammates, because that was what was happening. Whelihan's taken over and done a reasonable job.
Well, Whelihan will operate out of the shotgun on 3rd and 8. Pressure, steps up, gets it to Freddie Jones and tied in, and a nifty move by Jones out across the 45 and down at the 48. Leomont Evans rode him down.
Beyond belief. Chargers, look what they traded to Arizona for Ryan Leaf. And Bill, it was incredible.
First-round draft choice and a second-round draft choice this year, #1 next year.
I think they believe in Ryan Leaf, and he will be a franchise quarterback. He just has to grow up a little bit and develop some maturity, not only on the field, but also off the field and dealing with life in the NFL as a starting quarterback.
Whelihan has him moving. 1st and 10 from the 48. It's complete to Ryan Thelwell. And now they say he didn't have it.
You know, I thought it was interesting chatting with Whelihan yesterday, and we said, well, hey, you know, if you were describing yourself, what would you say? And you remember he said, high-strung, intense on the field. Off the field, I'm laid back, but, you know, he's a guy that is just very intense. And so far today, 5 of 7, 48 yards, no mistakes, a key.
Through the 5 interceptions against Denver, said he couldn't sleep Sunday night. He saw the game film. He couldn't sleep that night either. But finally in practice on Wednesday, he said he started to put it behind him. Fletcher. Across midfield into Washington territory. Kennard Lang made the stop.
And, you know, coming into this game, honestly, it was one of those games that was hard to figure. The motivation involved. San Diego, if they run the table and they're 9 and 7, they would have a shot at the playoffs. A real good shot, I would say, depending upon what happens elsewhere, obviously. But, you know, Washington just trying to put it together after a disastrous start of 0 and 7. And boy, to both coaches' credits, they kept their teams focused and playing well.
Pick up a 4. That'll bring up 3rd and 6. Whelihan from the shotgun. 2 wide receivers to the right side. Up the sidelines. Jones has it. He beat Darryl Pounds, the nickelback.
And now you know why Craig Whelihan was talking about Charlie Jones as his favorite receiver, even though he's only 5'8". You're right, it's a nickel. It's man-to-man bump coverage. No help for Darryl Pounds. And the ball is just so beautifully thrown over the outside. Whelihan standing cool in the pocket and just put some air under the ball so that Jones can take it over the shoulder. Not bad coverage by Pounds.
Pickup of 31. Charlie Jones caught 5 passes last week on Sunday night against Denver. 1st and 10 from the 17. Fletcher down to the 15. A pickup of 2. Jamal Duff made the stop for Washington.
Hey, but it's a hard match. I was starting to say, when you look at the matchup, certainly Washington doesn't have a great defense. Certainly not against the run. Yet on the other side of the ball, San Diego without Natron Means isn't much at running the ball. The other way around, when you look at that defense of San Diego, #1 in the league, but you know, their offense has slowed them down for most of the year.
Well, they spotted at the 16. Whelihan with time fires. Intended for Charlie Jones, who got a hand on it. Darrell Green had the coverage.
Darrell Green so fast at 38 years old, it's amazing. Here he is one-on-one with Charlie Jones. Gets into his back pedal, sees the quarterback as well, and then reacts well. I mean, I think Jones was just hearing and seeing people around him. 3 Redskins ready there to pop him. That ball thrown high.
At the age of 38, the NFL's oldest defensive player of the week.
And last week, He ran down Napoleon Kaufman, who has warp speed.
From behind, 3rd and 9. Whelihan. Caught by Jones. Short of the first down, just inside the 10. And that'll bring out the field goal unit. Marcus Patton and Sean Barber combined to make the stop.
And both coaches want their quarterbacks to play within themselves, and that's exactly what Craig Whelihan is doing. Short pass, he didn't pick up the first down, but still he gets good field goal position, doesn't make mistakes.
Carney already with a 32-yarder. Tempest from 27, it's up and good. So with 10:42 left to play in the first half, the Redskins 7, the Chargers 6. Just outside our nation's capital, 2 John Carney field goals, 7-6 Redskins. Redskins, of course, started 0-7. They're 3-2 since. There's the drive. 68 yards, 11 plays, took over 5 minutes, culminating in the 27-yard field goal. Brian Mitchell, James Thrash, who has the touchdown, are back deep, and at the goal line, it's Mitchell. Straight ahead. A burst across the 40. Will they catch him? Touchdown, Washington. A 101-yard kickoff return.
Brian Mitchell is one of only 3 in the NFL history to lead the league in combined yardage 3 straight years. Here he just shows the burst. What surprises me at the end of this play is watch number 22 right there coming up. Why he doesn't knock him out of bounds. Mitchell with a straight arm at the end. Jimmy Spencer had a chance to knock him out at the 5, but Mitchell just too strong. 5'10", 221 pounds. A burst, 101-yard kickoff return.
Terry Blanchard on to try the extra point. ...101 yards.
On CBS is sponsored by Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford time. The NASDAQ MX Market Group, the market of markets. And by Citizens. Today more than ever, Citizens are the world's held time.
Brian Mitchell almost broke one last week against the Raiders. His second career kickoff return for a touchdown. He had one called back earlier this year. But 101 yards, and it gives the Redskins a 14-6 lead. Tony Gator is back deep for San Diego. Short kick. Gator takes it at the 10, the former speedster from Miami. And he's ridden out at about the 34-yard line. And that's where San Diego will take over when we return. Touchdown, John, from field level this time.
Brian Mitchell, you think at 30 years old, 9 years in the league, he wouldn't be able to run like this. Creates a great hole on the outside. And what surprised me at the end, see number 22 coming down. He just straight arms Jimmy Spencer and gets the extra 5 yards to complete that 101-yard kickoff return for a touchdown.
San Diego, 1st and 10 from the 34. Ricks, the rookie, in motion. Play action. Complete to Ricks, and he stopped after a pickup of 3 by Darrell Green.
Ricks is a big wide receiver, and Green is down on the ground. But look at the combined yards for Brian Mitchell, 802. Only Marshall Faulk this year has more. And that's going to change.
Last year, he finished second to Barry Sanders.
And Mitchell, I mean, we mentioned before about he's one of only 3 in the NFL history to lead the league in combined yardage 3 straight years, 94 to 96. The other 2 guys, Jim Brown and Gale Sayers. So Brian Mitchell in good company. Darrell Green still on the ground after making that hit coming up from his zone position.
Smile.
Yes.
Probably not a better loved guy in his hometown than Darrell Green is here in the Washington area.
And a guy who just wants to be in the Washington area. Remember, he talked to us yesterday and told us he had opportunity to go elsewhere, but he just loves the Redskins and wants to finish his career here. He's been here a few years, hasn't he?
Because he's never even met once with another team despite being a free agent.
16 years.
2nd and 8. Fletcher goes outside and gets it across the 40. Stopped by Sean Barber. Well, let's take a look at the CBS Sportsline question of the week. Who is the most feared pass rusher in the game today? A. Kevin Green, B. Bruce Smith, or Reggie White? You can log on to vote at CBSSportsline.com or on America Online at keyword CBS Sportsline.
It's amazing, Reggie White. Last year, I thought he was done in the Super Bowl. I mean, he looked like he was toast, cooked, back problems. And then he got some inspiration. He's back and he's leading the NFL with 15 sacks. Woo.
3rd and 1. Kenny Bynum is checked in for the Chargers. Intended for Charlie Jones, and in and out of his hands, and a flag is down. Chris Dishman had the coverage for the Redskins.
You know, Chris Dishman is one of those physical cornerbacks. He likes to get his hands on the receiver. That time they're saying he had his hands on while the ball was in the air.
Ron Winter, our referee. And it'll go against the Redskins.
Dishman saying, hey, what, me? Come on, I can bump for the first 5 yards. Of course, the NFL officials have gotten more stringent on that bumping and shoving ball.
Pass interference. Number 26 of the defense. Penalizes the spot of the foul. First down.
Officiating the topic of conversation on the NFL today. They were talking about it, and boy, are they under scrutiny. But take a look at it right here. Charlie Jones trying to break to the inside. Chris, it's the left arm holding on to Jones. That's his real call. You can bump him, but then you got to let go.
So after the penalty, 1st and 10 from the 47. 2 wide receivers to the right side for the Chargers. Redskins showing blitz. Here they come. Fletcher picking his way near midfield. Mark Boutte was the first to meet him. Boutte, who rotates in and out of that defensive line in his 7th year out of LSU.
And some folks might be wondering where Dana Stubblefield is. He's hurt. He was a major disappointment. He's out. Of course, he and Dan Wilkinson were the 2 free agents that the Washington Redskins got, and they figured they could fill that hole, plug that rush defense hole, and it just hasn't worked out with Wilkinson and Stubblefield.
2nd and 8 from the 49. Fletcher is back in. 3 wide receivers for San Diego. Again, the Redskins showing blitz, and they come off the play action. Whelihan has his tight end, Freddie Jones. And a big hit there by Leomont Evans.
Evans, a big hit on a big man, because Freddie Jones, 2nd year out of North Carolina, is 6'5", 270. So, and we were talking about Dana Stubblefield. Remember, came from San Francisco. He was the NFC Defensive Player of the Year last year. He's out with a knee injury and just didn't settle in here in Washington. Wilkinson has had an average year. Those 2 defensive tackles were supposed to make that Redskin defense more than respectable. It hasn't happened.
Out of the shotgun on 3rd and 3. Whelihan caught. First down. Charlie Jones has it close to the 30, down at the 32. Sean Barber made the stop. And you don't want to have to cover Jones with a linebacker.
Exactly right. And Whelihan just smiled when we talked to him about Charlie Jones yesterday, and Jones coming underneath. They're in a zone. Linebackers a little late in getting there, and then Jones just shows a good quickness turning upfield for the first down.
Pickup of 14. Chargers now with 10 first downs. And what has been an offensive-oriented first half. Motion, that's Freddie Jones. Fletcher. Little stutter step. His teammates call him a poor man's Barry Sanders, and he has it inside the 30. So the Chargers on the move against the Redskins with 6:25 left to play in the half.
You know, Fletcher before this year was used mostly as a third down receiver. And he's a guy that'll catch 50, 60 passes for you. His 4th year out of Wisconsin. But with Natron Means going down, Fletcher has to be the man carrying the ball 20, 25 times a game.
Rushed 11 times for 54 yards and a touchdown against Denver after the pickup of 4, 2nd and 6 from the 28. Whelihan swings it out to Fletcher. And he's close to another first down. Leomont Evans and Chris Dishman drove him out of bounds.
You see the one-on-one when Fletcher gets in the flat. Evans subbing for the injured Jesse Campbell. Campbell's career probably over, but it's a one-on-one situation. And watch when Fletcher gets out there right now, one-on-one against Evans. Gives him a little fake, breaks to the outside, and then stretches close to the first down.
But they spot it just short, so it'll be 3rd and less than a yard from the 23. Wendell Davis is the H-back back there with Fletcher. Jumbo package. Fletcher, and he wants to throw it. He's got a man wide open. That's Freddie Jones, the tight end, and touchdown San Diego.
We talked about Norv Turner wanting to use a little razzle-dazzle. This time, Fletcher, you could tell from up here that it wasn't a real run because of the way he came. Watch how he takes the ball. He just sort of runs. He's not full speed, and then he looks back. Wide open is Freddie Jones. Nobody near him, and it's Evans taking over for Jesse Campbell. And they talked about Evans, the learning curve at strong safety. He bit on this run the other way. And it's not a great throw. I mean, Fletcher ought not to give up his running back job, because had he thrown it beautifully, Jones just would have sauntered into the end zone.
But it certainly was good enough to get the job done. Have a man down on the field. Here you see the numbers for Freddie Jones, his 3rd touchdown reception of the year. It's Malcolm Hamilton, free agent out of Baylor, who's down. Hamilton, a backup linebacker, used primarily on special teams. Now holding on to that left hand wrist area.
See if we can get a look at it right here. He tries to knock the ball away and then just sort of catches his shoulder or his arm underneath the wrist. And that's how the injury occurred. But, you know, Freddie Jones, Whelihan was saying that Whelihan was talking about his tight end, Freddie Jones. He said, hey, he's a future all-pro. We have to get more production out of him. We have to get the ball to him more often. He runs a 4.4, 4.55 40, and he's 6'5", 270. I got to get him the ball.
So trailing 14-12 with just over 5 minutes to play in the first half. The Chargers will go for 2.
Sure, trying to tie it.
Davis, the H-back. The deep back is Fletcher. Jumbo package for the Chargers. Fletcher, play action. And the 2-point conversion. Again, it's Freddie Jones. So 5:01 left to play in the half, and we're tied at 14. Well, a lively first half here at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. Terrell Fletcher, 14 carries for 61 yards, has 3 catches for 17 yards, and has thrown a touchdown pass. And we've still got 5 minutes to play in the first half. John Carney set to kick it off for the Chargers. Ryan Mitchell back deep. The last time he touched it, he went 101 yards at the goal line. Mitchell this time gets back to the 20. Rodney Harrison made the stop along with Dedrick Dodge for San Diego.
It's interesting on the two-point conversion that the Washington defense buys the play-action fake right there to Fletcher. Whelihan rolls out, keeps his cool, and then throws it back away from the defenders. And Freddie Jones with a good read not to keep running because he would have run right into a Washington defender. Instead he stops. Whelihan reads it. Two-point conversion, tie score, 14-all.
They spotted at the 21, so that's where the Redskins will take over. First and 10. Shepard in motion. Green complete to Alexander, the rookie tight end, and he's close to a first down.
We've been talking a lot about Freddie Jones on that last touchdown and then two-point conversions. Well, Washington has their own version of Freddie Jones, a rookie out of Oklahoma, number 2 pick. He's big, 6'5", 250, and they really like him. He can run, and that's Steven Alexander. Watch him slip out there after a quick block into the flat, makes the catch. He replaces Jamie Asher, a terrific receiver with an extra gear of speed. They think he's going to be a good one.
Asher, a Pro Bowler. First down. Green. Caught. James Thrash, who had the touchdown catch earlier. Well, coming up on the NASDAQ Amex halftime report, join Jim Nance, Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, and Michael Lombardi for all the scores and highlights, plus a preview of the Kansas City-Denver game. That's all coming up on the NASDAQ Amex halftime report.
You know, Denver looking to make history, to be undefeated. Only Miami did that. And also Terrell Davis chasing that record of 2,105 yards, Eric Dickerson. So interesting game today.
Pickup of 12. Brian Mitchell has checked in now. Green going up top for Shepard, who can't quite get there. He had a step on Rodney Harrison.
But you know, Bill, it's one of those real tough throws for a quarterback. A lot of faking, rolling one way, and then he's throwing all the way back across the field at a strange angle. Shepard had a little room, but Harrison was late.
Similar numbers for the two quarterbacks.
They're both having good days and, you know, high percentage passing, one with a touchdown, but neither one has thrown an interception, had a turnover.
Second and 10. Terry Allen is checked back in. He's the deep back and gets the pitch around the left side into San Diego territory. He gets it down inside the 48-yard line. Harrison made the stop from a strong safety position for the Chargers.
You know, the tight end, Steven Alexander, the rookie, made some block on Junior Seau. You see Seau right there, That's Alexander, the youngster on the 9-year, 7-time All-Pro. Junior Seau takes him to the ground. That allows that play to work.
Brian Mitchell is back in on third down, 3rd and 4. Green trying to throw back to Alexander, and it bounces off the turf, so that'll bring up 4th down.
Just not enough juice on that by Trent Green. Otherwise, the screen throwback to the tight end had some room. Take a look at it again. He's just getting pressure. Right there, pressure on the quarterback. He throws back, and the ball is just low, and if you're a 6'5" guy like Alexander, tough to go down to your shoe tops and make the catch. Trent Green obviously disappointed because that would have been a first down easily, and then some.
Matt Turk stands at his own 38-yard line. Tony Gator back deep to receive for San Diego. He lets this one bounce. He takes a Charger bounce back up to the 20, and there it's down by Washington by Greg Evans. So a 28-yard punt from Matt Turk with 2:36 left to play here in the first half. June Jones says he was uncomfortable at first taking over as the interim head coach, but that the team really has played well for him, and that has made it enjoyable.
Different from Kevin Gilbride, more laid back, more easygoing, made what I think is a brilliant decision in sitting Ryan Leaf, who didn't have real good control of the situation, his emotions on and off the field, and sat him down and said, hey, Whelihan, you play. Leaf, you take a look, see what you can learn from the sideline.
Chargers in 3 possessions have a pair of field goals and a touchdown. Fletcher to the 25 and no more. And back to the 20 rather, and no more. Mark Boutte made the stop.
You know, I thought it was interesting talking when we talked to Whelihan yesterday. He was talking about next year when everyone expects Ryan Leaf to have training camp, to be a little more mature. And he said, hey, I have 1 year left on my contract. And I want to finish strong because I'd like a chance to compete with Leaf. Now, a lot of people would say, hey, are you kidding? With all the money he got and where he was drafted, you have no shot. But Whelihan doesn't believe that, and performances like this may actually give him a shot to compete for a while.
Well, we've reached the 2-minute warning, tied at 14. Starring Ted Danson, followed by an all-new LA Doctors Monday on CBS. 2nd and 10 for San Diego. Fletcher stopped for a loss. Darrell Pounds got in the backfield and grabbed an ankle.
It's going to be interesting to see how they work this, because both teams have 3 timeouts, and Washington just called a timeout here as they stuff Fletcher in the backfield. Obviously, Washington hoping to get that ball back with good field position. We're tied 14 all with 1:51 left.
From the 18, Whelihan has 2 wide receivers to the right side. With time, incomplete, and that'll bring out the punting unit. Intended for Freddie Jones.
Ball was thrown a little high, but did you see all the time that Craig Whelihan had? He had forever, because one of the problems that Washington has, they can't get a pass rush from their front 4. Ball was certainly catchable. Jones just dropped it.
For the first time today, we see Darren Bennett, the former Australian rules football player. And Brian Mitchell stands back at his own 33. Good high kick drives Mitchell back to the 25. Has some room. And the Redskins will have good field position with 1:32 left to play in the first half. Michael Mooring made the stop for San Diego. A 58-yard punt and an 18-yard return. And Jerome Williams is down for San Diego. Some big hits in this game.
2 players are actually down for San Diego. I can't see the other, but lots of hitting. Take a look here on the return. Boo. Wow. You know, this game's important for both clubs, especially for both coaches, Norv Turner and Charlie Casserly, the general manager, you know, hoping that at the end of the season they'll finish up positively, and they'll be back next year. And June Jones, obviously, you know, an interim coach, hoping to take that interim away from the title underneath his name. So a finish at the end. Williams is up. That's great news. And
the other man down is David Binn. He's the long snapper. Binn in his 5th year out of Cal.
And a real specialist. That's all David Binn does. He is a long snapper, and they're taking their time and checking him out. He doesn't seem to be in any great pain. It's hard to tell what's wrong.
Timeout charged to San Diego. And Ben trots off, and you can chat live with Dolphins quarterback Dan Marino this Tuesday night at 9 Eastern on America Online at keyword Team NFL and on the web at www.nfl.com.
Dan Marino, boy, what a quarterback. He's been around since that 83 class of 83 with all the great quarterbacks. Interesting that Darrell Green was in that class as well. You know, Washington 2 timeouts left, plenty of time to get something on the board here.
Ryan Mitchell has checked in for the 2-minute offense. Green with time. Oh my! Grab by James Thrash. Pickup of 18, and Green has him up in a hurry.
And with Michael Westbrook out, Thrash has to make plays like that. What a brilliant catch.
Green.
Watch out.
Stripped away. The Chargers are going to get it. Recovered by Rayleigh Johnson, Marco Coleman.
Johnson put heavy heat on Trent Green from the backside. Watch it here. See number 99. Green never sees him. He strips the ball away, and then it's Marco Coleman picking it up, getting the recovery for San Diego, and just like that, a turnover changes the whole complexion of this tie game.
So Rayleigh Johnson stripped it away, and Marco Coleman gathered it up.
Big problem at left tackle for the Washington Redskins. They've had 3 or 4 players there, and they just haven't been able to get it done. That's where the rush came from.
So now the Chargers with 1:02 left in the half with an opportunity, 1st and 10 at the Redskins 39. Whelihan, and he has it stripped away, and the Redskins have it. Dan Wilkinson.
He tries to step up in the pocket, Whelihan does, but it's number 92, Duff, who gets a hand on it, and then he just can't turn around, and it's recovered by the Skins. So no turnovers for a while, and then all of a sudden back-to-back turnovers.
And the Redskins lost about 15 yards on that exchange. They'll get it 1st and 10 from the 48. 56 seconds left in the half. Green throws it away. In the vicinity of Chris Thomas.
It's interesting on the backside what the Redskins are doing. They're giving their left tackle, Joe Patton, out over here. Watch this. They're giving him some help with the back in order to deal with the rush, because that left tackle position has been a nightmare for the Skins. They've had 3 different ones. Joe Patton is playing there right now, number 68, but he's really a guard playing out of position.
Patton was the Redskins' 3rd-round draft pick in 1994. So 2nd and 10. Green, plenty of time, and a wide-open receiver, Chris Thomas. Thomas goes out of bounds inside the 30. They'll spot it at the 27. Pickup of 25.
Without the injured Michael Westbrook, they're going into their receiver core. Thomas and Thrash making big plays. This time it's Thomas on the outside, breaking outside, number 89. Ball well thrown, gets out of bounds as he should. 2 timeouts left for both teams.
Chris Thomas and Trent Green were both teammates in San Diego. And he was the one that Trent Green threw to in practice. This time Brian Mitchell throws it, and Green gets popped but hangs on to the football.
Well, Mitchell tries to throw it back. This is a good way to get your quarterback hurt, because Rodney Harrison, the strong safety for the San Diego Chargers and one of the big hitters in the NFL, has a clear shot on the quarterback, slipping out and making this guy. Take a look at the hit. How are you? Ooh.
Well, the Redskins take a timeout with 32 seconds remaining in the half. We're tied at 14.
Rayleigh Johnson with the big outside rush forces Green to throw that ball before he wanted to. They're going to have to help Patton at that left tackle position. Pascal knows at that left tackle position. He actually said there really isn't a left tackle on the roster. They're going to have to go out and find one.
As the #1 rated defense in the NFL, 3rd and 10. Green, straight back. steps up. He's going to run it. And he's got a first down. Junior Seau trips him up. Heads up play by Trent Green.
Trent Green does a brilliant job because he actually runs into his left guard, Brad Badger. Take a look at it here when he starts to run. Here's Badger right there. Watch what Green starts to run, and he bumps into his offensive lineman, bounces off, and still picks up the first down.
And the Redskins take their final timeout.
And you know, one of the things that makes Trent Green a player in the NFL is his mobility. He's certainly not Steve Young or Mark Brunell, but he has good athleticism and good mobility, something you have to have these days in the NFL to survive.
Norv Turner worked him out when he was with the Cowboys. He was going to sign him as a free agent. In fact, was on the phone with Trent when the Chargers drafted him. Norv said he liked his personality. He liked the way he worked.
The man has waited 4 years for his turn. Norv Turner had always liked him. Trent Green doing a good job for the Redskins right now, hoping to get them ahead before the half.
21 seconds left in the first half. Green going for the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Thrash.
Jimmy Spencer had good coverage on Thrash. The little pump fake by Green did not work. Jimmy Spencer knowing they have to go to the end zone, but take a look at it again. That's on the outside. Spencer going up and just preventing Thrash from coming down with this play. Take a look at it again. Ball is reasonably well thrown. At least it's not going to be intercepted. It's only the receiver that really has his shot. He can make the play, Thrash.
14 seconds left in the half. 2nd and 10 from the 17. Terry Allen is checked back in for the Redskins. Green goes to the sidelines. Oh, what a big hit. Steven Alexander, the tight end, was the intended receiver. Charles Demry popped him.
Demry's not the biggest guy in the world either. 6 feet, 176 pounds. Kind of a journeyman here. He comes up, makes a huge hit on Alexander. Incomplete, so the Skins will go for the field goal to try to take a lead.
The crowd wanted pass interference. It looked like Demry timed that perfectly.
Totally agree. It was not pass interference.
So Kerry Blanchard on to try a 35-yard field goal. It's up and good. So the Redskins get something before the half. 6 seconds left to play in the first half. 17-14 Washington.
It's interesting that the teams exchanged turnovers, and it was eventually Washington who put the 3 points on the board.
Got to be impressed with the way the Redskins have moved the football on this top-ranked defense.
Well, yeah, it's Norv Turner and his creative play calling. I mean, he's throwing back. He has halfback passes. He has started the game with a reverse to Michael Westbrook. He's done all kinds of misdirections to try to short passing game to try to keep that San Diego defense off balance, and he's done a good job.
Seen a little bit of everything here in the first half. Ryan Mitchell with the 101-yard kickoff return.
You know, someone
thrown a touchdown pass for San Diego.
Yes, pulled out all the stops. You know, when you're a team like Washington 3-9 and San Diego 5-7, San Diego with an outside shot at the playoffs if they can run the table and win 4. But you know, why not pull out the stops?
And Terrell Fletcher is back deep for San Diego. 6 seconds remaining. A squibber taken by one of the up men. And time runs out in the first half. And an eventful first half it's been. Norv Turner said he was going to throw a lot of looks at San Diego, and he's done it. That's the end of the first half. We'll be back after this message and a word for your local station. Numbers from the first half, and they are very close.
Look at that, right? Within 5 yards of each other, total yards, 1 yard differentiation between the passing and rushing as well.
You impressed with the way the Redskins have been able to move the ball on that Charger defense?
I am, and you know what impresses me as much is North Turner. This is a fine coaching job by an excellent coach in keeping that #1 defense in the NFL, the Charger defense, off balance with screens and draws and quick passes and reverses. Started the game with a reverse to Michael Westbrook, who has since been injured.
So Brian Mitchell, we asked the Redskins why he doesn't play more in the backfield. He says he's too valuable on special teams. We don't want to take a chance of him getting hurt. So Mitchell generally comes in third down situations or obvious passing situations. But we are set to start the second half. The Redskins will kick it. Tony Gator is back deep for San Diego.
Brian Mitchell is just an all-purpose threat. He's brilliant on third down out of the backfield on the kickoff return at 101 yards. He's just an all-purpose back, and they'll need weapons like that, like Brian Mitchell, because Michael Westbrook, the report we just got, is a jammed neck, and he'll be out. He's out of the game.
Now a little bit of a breeze knocks the ball off the tee. That's Brett Conway, who's the kickoff specialist, originally drafted by the Packers. There you see the flag above the stadium. Straight out. It has been an absolutely spectacular day.
And what were you telling me before? It's somewhat high, mid-70s here in Maryland at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. What was it in San Diego at the start of this game? Something like what?
60 degrees and raining.
Wow.
We were told, but you're probably back there watching this, so you know better. But today it was supposed to get close to 80. Gator takes it at the 2. Speedster out of the University of Miami. He picks his way out to the 25. Sean Barber made the stop along with Greg Evans. So that's where the Chargers will take over, 1st and 10. And a look at the San Diego first half possessions.
You know, they were productive early. Some very good drives. Look at that. 13 plays, 67 yards. They only got a field goal on those first 2 drives. Obviously, they'd have to be more productive. Third drive, they got 8 plays, 66 yards. A touchdown to the tight end, Freddie Jones. So, pretty productive day for Craig Whelihan and his San Diego offense.
Turned it over on the fumble, but no interceptions. Fletcher, big hole. Dragging people out close to the 40. They'll spot it at the 39. Leo Mont Evans finally stopped him after a gain of 14.
You know, you talk to people around here at halftime, and they were saying the Washington Redskins defense has been playing really well. They've had a terrible, terrible year, but that hole was so wide that you and I could have run through it. It's just too much give by Greg Jones. See him right there? The outside linebacker just gave too much on the block.
Whelihan straight back. Caught. Gain of 9. Michael Ricks, the rookie out of Stephen F. Austin.
Let me tell you one of the problems that the Redskins have had this year. They expected to clog up the middle with the acquisitions of Wilkinson and Stubblefield. It didn't happen. They were last year, Bill, you recall, able to play man-to-man on the outside with Darrell Green and with Chris Dishman. This year, Dishman has struggled, so they haven't been able to do a lot of that, so they've had to compensate. But if you have 2 corners that can play man-to-man outside, you can come on the blitz with your safeties and your linebackers. Redskins have not been able to do that this year. 2nd and 1,
first possession of the second half. Delay to Fletcher. He gets back to the line of scrimmage. Stanley Richards, the former Charger, was there to meet him. Stanley Richard was San Diego's first-round draft choice in 1991, the 9th player selected overall out of the University of Texas. And before the game, he saw his old teammate Rodney Harrison, and they exchanged a big hug and words out on the field.
4 years in San Diego, 4 in Washington. Not a real physical free safety, but he's a veteran, knows what he's doing back there. Doesn't always bring his A-level game to the field.
3rd and 1. Fletcher is the deep back. He'll get it. First down and more. Pickup of 3 into Washington territory to the 48. Marcus Patton wrote him down.
Fletcher is actually having a pretty good afternoon. Washington defense is nothing to write home about, but he's carried the ball 19 times for 77 yards against a defense that's ranked 28th in the NFL against the run. So San Diego, not much of an offense himself, taking advantage of weakness on the Washington defense.
1st and 10 from the 48. The Chargers will throw it. Whelihan gets out of trouble, spins away, buys some time, and finally runs out of bounds inside the 45, and there's a flag. Maybe a late hit.
Derek Smith was there a little bit late on the sideline, and I think that's what we might be talking about. We'll have to take a closer look because Patton was there as well. Penalty against the Washington defense. Patton seems to be arguing, so we'll get a look at it right here as Whelihan scrambles. Not the best of scramblers. Actually, see, Dan Wilkinson actually had a piece of him, but he gets out of trouble and then takes it up the far sideline. Watch at the end of the play, and you'll see the penalty. Right there. I think it's number 50, Derek Smith, was the one right here. Take a look. He's out of bounds. That's the time you have to pull up.
And it's a big one. All the way down to the 30. The Chargers will have it 1st and 10. Kenny Bynum has checked into the backfield. Bynum in his 2nd year out of South Carolina State. He's the deep back. Bynum on the delay. Spins, picks up 1. It'll bring up 2nd and 9. Kennard Lang and Doug Brown combined to make the stop.
I was just about to say, Bill, they're probably trying to give Terrell Fletcher a little break with Bynum. Fletcher's carried the ball, 19 times. He's been the workhorse today, so Bynum comes in to give him a little breather.
Now Bynum goes out, and Fletcher comes back in on 2nd and 9. Ricks, the rookie, is split wide to the right. Jones to the left. Whelihan, short drop, throwing the out. Intended for Ricks, and he couldn't get back to it.
You know, Ricks is a rookie. Yeah, exactly. Ricks is a rookie. They came with the blitz, and they said to the cornerbacks, Dishman and Green, you cover the outside guys one-on-one. They forced to throw a little bit early, and Ricks, a big rookie at 6'5", 237. But Dishman is a physical corner, able to cover him. Incomplete pass. Ryan
Thelwell checks in, and the H-back Wendell Davis goes out on 3rd and long. Whelihan will operate out of the shotgun. 2 wide receivers to the left side. With time. Caught, tipped, and caught again. A circus grab, but it'll be short of the 1st down. And good concentration from Freddie Jones, the tight end, battling Sean Barber for the football.
Boy, does Whelihan like Freddie Jones. Take a look at him on the right side, breaking outside right there. He's going upfield. He's surrounded. He's actually being pulled and tugged at by the linebacker. The ball goes up in the air. Sean Barber was on the coverage, and eventually Jones, good concentration, comes down with it.
It's short of the 1st down, so John Carney on to try a 41-yard field goal. Chargers all-time leading scorer. He puts it through, and with 10:21 left to play in the 3rd quarter, we're tied again at 17. Well, after the 3rd John Carney field goal, we're tied at 17. 10:21 left to play in the 3rd quarter. 9-play drive, 52 yards, 4:39 off the clock. Carney set to kick it off. Brian Mitchell is back deep with Stephen Davis. Takes it in the end zone and takes the knee. So they'll bring it out to the 20, and that's where the Redskins will start. 1st and 10 when we return.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sutter, a different kind of company, a different kind of car. Staples, the office superstore. And by Domino's, delivering 1 million smiles a day.
First possession of the 2nd half for the Washington Redskins, and we haven't had a single 3-and-out possession today by either side. Redskins will take it after the touchback. 1st and 10 from the 20. Terry Allen and Stephen Davis are in the backfield. Allen with the pitch. He'll try the left side. Cuts back. Still on his feet. And a nice gain of 8. Rodney Harrison finally brought him down. Well, tomorrow on CBS, Raymond's brother just moved into a swinging bachelor pad, and guess who is green with envy? Ray Romano stars in an all-new episode of Monday night's #1 comedy, Everybody Loves Raymond. Tomorrow on CBS. 2nd and 2 now from the 28. Tight package. Davis, the man in motion. Terry Allen struggles, maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Kurt Govea was in the backfield. Now let's send you to Jim Nantz for an NFL update.
Thank you, Billy. Peyton Manning and the Colts led 21-7 in the first half. Here's the first play of the 3rd quarter. His Atlanta's coming back. He's picked off by Ray Buchanan. It sets up a Chandler touchdown pass, and Manning has just been picked off again, and Atlanta's deep. Let's go back now to Bill and John.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. Well, we mentioned that the Chargers have never beaten the Redskins. Atlanta has never beaten Indianapolis. Motion from Leslie Shepard on 3rd down. Short drop on the out pattern. It's caught for a 1st down by Shepard. Got a step to the outside on Jimmy Spencer, the right corner.
This is just a perfect throw, a simple out pattern. Spencer is there, tries to go underneath, thinking if the ball is underthrown he might intercept it, but the ball is so well thrown. 1st down, Shepard and the Skins.
From the 34. Allen, the lone setback. Quick snap on the slant. That's Alexander. Still on his feet to the outside. Finally ridden out of bounds near midfield. Pick up a 15.
Everybody talks about their 2nd-round drafter on Washington, Stephen Alexander out of Oklahoma. After he catches the ball, he has that extra gear to run away from people, and that's exactly Steve Govea missed him in the middle, and then outside Spencer, and finally he's run out of bounds. But Stephen Alexander, they think, is going to be one of those, a Jay Novacek type of tight end who can split the zone down the middle, make something happen after he makes the catch.
I formation. Now motion, that's James Jenkins. Allen on the toss, and he's tripped up and a loss of 1. It'll bring up 2nd and 11, and Junior Seau made the stop.
Before that play, Junior Seau only had 3 tackles. This time he comes with penetration. Take a look at him right here. Let's see him penetrate right there, and he just trips up Allen with his right hand. Junior Seau with the penetration.
Norv Turner called him a defensive lineman with linebacker skills. He says he rushes the passer like a lineman, but is one of the best cover linebackers in the NFL. After the loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Green straight back with time. Had it and dropped, intended for Shepard. And good coverage that time from Jimmy Spencer.
Shepard couldn't make the play, but that's because Jimmy Spencer was there. Watch the end of this play. He spins around, and boy, they say, oh, don't do that. He was expecting the out, but he was able to recover on that spin move and knock the ball away. Jimmy Spencer was. He was thinking and guessing out pattern, so he did a 360-degree turn, which is actually the fastest way for a defensive back to spin around. No Pop Warner, a high school coach, would teach it, but in the pros you can get away with it.
Brian Mitchell is checked in on 3rd and long. Pressure. Green sets and incomplete. Pass was intended for Leslie Shepard, so that will bring out the punting unit.
Pressure on the quarterback wins games, especially late 3rd quarter, 4th quarter. If you can get a rush on a quarterback and get pressure on him, and that's exactly what the Chargers do here. Jamal Williams, the main pressure man, forces him to throw early and high.
Tony Gator stands back on his own 10-yard line. Matt Turk could be the first player in the NFL to have a net average of better than 40 yards. That's since they started keeping that category in 1977. Goes out of bounds inside the 20. And that's where the Chargers will take over when we return. Prince George's County in suburban Maryland. 7:07 left to play in the third quarter. We're tied at 17. We mentioned that Washington has never lost to San Diego. Here's some of the other shutouts, John.
Yes, and I guess Indianapolis and Atlanta are doing some battle, so that may change there. But yes, Washington, San Diego, 5-0 Washington over San Diego.
Fletcher with room. Battles across the 20 to the 21. Darrell Green rode him down. Of course, we mentioned that the Falcons lead the Colts 28-21 in the third quarter, so that streak could come to an end.
Terrell Fletcher having a good afternoon, and his having a good afternoon and running the ball well. 20 rushes for 84 yards helps to take the pressure off Craig Whelihan, and obviously allows them to do more things. Not the best rushing defense in the NFL. Washington near the bottom, but still a good day for Terrell Fletcher.
After the pickup of 7, 2nd and 3, and Fletcher again. Close to a first down. Marcus Patton rode him down. Fletcher came in with only 187 yards for the season, although a very effective receiver at 144 yards catching the football. They're going to bring out the chains.
Of course, Natron Means was the main man coming back to San Diego after spending a couple of years in Jacksonville. But when he was hurt, Fletcher came back off his injury. Fletcher was actually injured for 4 weeks, so he's back and having the best day of the year for him.
Check the measurement. And first down, San Diego. Natron Means fractured his left foot week 10 against Baltimore. He'd like to come back before the end of the season.
Do you remember Natron in 1994 when he had 1,350 yards, 12 touchdowns for San Diego? And inexplicably, they let him go. He was in Jacksonville for 2 years, and now he's back.
First and 10 from the 24. Whelihan straight back. Throws the slant to Jones, and he's close to another first down.
That's just a nice throw, because you're talking about a cornerback who's been out there 16 years covering slant patterns, reads the quarterback real well. Darrell Green. Still, Jones coming inside, the ball delivered on time, and Green doesn't have a lot of time to react to break it up. Completion.
Just short of the first down, so call it 2nd and 1. Fletcher the lone setback. 2 wide receivers to the right side for the Chargers. And flags. Check the penalty.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 63 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Movement from Raleigh McKenzie, the longtime Redskin. That's a big improvement.
Slightly. 10 penalties last week, 6 turnovers, only 1-1 today. Chargers playing a lot more controlled, error-free football.
They move him back 5, so 2nd and 6. Davis in the backfield with Fletcher. Here come the Redskins on the blitz. Nice move to get outside by Whelihan, and he completes it to Wendell Davis, the H-back. Only the 4th reception of the year for Davis. Leo Mott Evans rode him out of bounds.
And a nice pickup on the blitz by Fletcher, or else Whelihan would have had no time to throw that ball.
3rd and call it 2.
Whelihan just on a little bit of a rollout to get away from the pressure. He saw the blitz coming. Terrell Fletcher helped him. He rolls out to get away from the pressure.
And the Chargers will take a timeout with 4:41 left to play in the third quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. What are you looking at? And by Canon. So advanced, it's simple.
Third and 2 for San Diego. 3 wide receivers, and Whelihan is straight back. Caught. Brian Thelwell, the rookie, and he has a first down. Coming up next is game 2 of our doubleheader. Some of you will see Kansas City and Denver. Others will see Baltimore and Tennessee. Check your local listings. That's next, the NFL on CBS.
You think there'll be a little fire in that game? Kansas City, Denver, after what happened in that first game? Whew. Derek Thomas. Be interesting to see how much he cranks it up today.
Pickup of 8. First and 10 from the 41. Fletcher, little stutter step. He's going to be stopped for a loss. Greg Jones got there first. Jones, who played well last week in his first start against the Raiders.
Jones gets in there, you see him coming, making some penetration, and he's really been slowed this year. Greg Jones, a disc in training camp, and it's kind of slowed his progress. He's one of the guys they believe is going to be a top linebacker and one of their top picks in, last year, as you mentioned. And Greg Jones, a big guy, 6'4", 240.
Loss of 2. In fact, they think Jones may need surgery in the offseason. Whelihan swings it out to Fletcher, a little too much on it. And that'll bring up 3rd and long.
Whelihan's hero growing up certainly would have made that throw. You saw him do it a lot of times. He grew up in Santa Clara area. He's a Kenny Stabler fan. And look at this. He says his emotion sometimes just gets the best of him on the field. He has to learn how to control that. He's a very intense, high-strung competitor.
Numbers for Whelihan, 149 yards, 16 completions. He'll operate out of the shotgun on 3rd and 12. Here come the Redskins.
I don't know about that.
Flag, but was it catchable? It was intended for Brian Still, but Still hadn't even turned around.
Wait a minute. Come on, guys. They're calling that. I think they're calling it on Darrell Green. Wait a minute. Darrell Green at man-to-man on Brian Still. Still hadn't even made his out move. The ball was way thrown away. Have to take a closer look at this.
Holding number 59 of the defense.
Oh, it was 59.
5-yard penalty and a first down.
It was Sean Barber. I thought it was Darrell Green on the outside who had good coverage. See, I thought it was Green playing bump and run outside on Still. Watch him here. He's head up. He's going to force the receiver to go one way or the other.
So first down, they give it to Fletcher, and another big hole, and Fletcher picks up 11 into Washington territory to the 46.
And the Washington Redskins are substituting their defensive linemen, trying to keep them fresh, but they simply don't have a dominant player on that defensive line. They hoped Wilkinson would be the man, number 95, but or Stubblefield, and of course Stubblefield is out with an injury, but they just don't have much up front to make it happen.
Mark Boutte has checked in on the defensive front for the Redskins. Fletcher and Davis in the backfield. Whelihan looking downfield, lost it out of bounds, and actually had Charlie Jones open. Stanley Richard was playing way back, and once again, let's go to Jim Nantz for an NFL update.
Well, Billy Mack, the Jets gave up a touchdown on an interception return by the Seattle defense, but they come right back. New York in the end zone. Curtis Martin scoring on 3rd and goal. However, they missed on the 2-point try. So Seattle's up 9 with 4:10 remaining 3rd quarter. Let's go back to Bill and John.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. Quite a day for Joey Galloway.
Jets need that game. I mean, that AFC East is a logjam, and Jets expecting to beat Seattle. Not happening so far.
2nd and 10 from the 46. Fletcher. Doug Brown rode him down. Brown is the man who replaced Stubblefield. Spent last season on the Bills practice squad. He's from Port Moody, British Columbia in Canada. Played at Simon Fraser out of the NAIA. Was the 1st-round draft pick of the Calgary Stampede. CFL.
Kind of a strange route to get to the NFL. Look at that balance of play selection by the Chargers. Dead even.
So 3rd and 6. Shotgun. Whelihan under pressure and sacked. Jamal Duff got there.
The big rush from the left defensive end, 92, Jamal Duff. He's got those long arms, 6'7", makes the sack of Whelihan, and the Chargers have to punt it away.
Brings out Darren Bennett. Brian Mitchell stands back at his own 10. High kick. Mitchell's going to let it bounce, and it goes out of bounds at the 15. They spot it at the 17, a 34-yard punt, and we'll be back in a moment. And from the 17, Skip Hicks has checked in for Terry Allen. Skip Hicks with 6 touchdowns in 4 games, filling in for Allen. Redskins will operate from their own 17. Alexander in motion. It's Hicks. Stopped and a loss of 1. It'll bring up 2nd and 11.
You know, Skip Hicks was a 3rd-round pick by the Redskins. North Turner really liked him. There was a rap on him coming out of UCLA, was that he wasn't tough enough, didn't finish runs, but he certainly has a lot of athletic ability and terrific speed, can get to the outside with a burst. So great changeup back for the Redskins.
North Turner very pleased. He was still around in the 3rd round. Terry Allen, meanwhile, is checked back in. Jenkins was the man in motion. Green, lots of pressure. Still on his feet. There's a flag. And finally, Green goes down. Tripped up by Junior Seau. Let's check the flag. It'll be holding against the Redskins.
A big safety blitz by San Diego. Look at Seau. He's all over. He's calling. He's telling his teammates what's going on. Here, reads the play, and then he sees the quarterback scrambling, comes up, and makes the tackle. I mean, Seau is really a warrior, kind of a modern-day gladiator. And remember what he said yesterday when we talked to him, how he wanted to be remembered for a guy who played the game the way it should be played.
Love the way Ray Nitschke and Dick Butkus played the game. They're really pure football players. Screen to Mitchell. Nice move. And gets it to the 14 and no more. So that'll bring out the punting unit.
And he's the man, Junior Seau, that makes it happen for San Diego on defense. And, you know, he just talked about the integrity and the purity of the game, as you mentioned. Plays with such intensity, such passion. But yesterday I thought he was very cerebral, very reflective, and said that, you know what, I'm the most relaxed I've been in my 9-year career. I'm just enjoying myself. Junior Seau is. We're tied.
Why is Ray hanging out at his brother's new...
Many think he's having the best year of an already outstanding career, and Johnny told us yesterday the ring is a huge deal. If he wants a second chance at the Super Bowl, whether he comes back as a player or a coach, Gator calls for a fair catch and makes it at the 56 of the Chargers, or the 46, and the Chargers will have excellent field position. Back in a moment. Toward the sidelines just before we went to commercial. They're working on his leg on the sidelines. Might have pulled a hamstring right there.
Looked like that left leg.
Fumble on the snap from San Diego. I think the Chargers got it back. Whelihan fell on it, having trouble in the exchange from center. Bowman Fortin is the Chargers center.
You know what's important? Craig Whelihan is playing within himself today and not doing too much. He's using the short, high percentage pass game. He's using his run game well with Terrell Fletcher, and so far hasn't made a lot of big mistakes. One turnover.
A loss of 2, so 2nd and 12 from the 44. Whelihan, short drop, quick out. Do they rule it a catch? No. And for another NFL update, once again, let's go to Jim Nance. Jim?
All right, Billy Mack. Doug Flutie's over 300 yards on his way to perhaps his best day as an NFL quarterback. Here he flips it to Eric Mould. Second time they've hooked up today for a touchdown. And Buffalo's on the rebound, up 20 with 11:50 to go. Let's go back to Bill and John.
All right, Jim, thank you. Doug Flutie can make so many things happen out there, John.
It's that mobility and that athleticism. And, of course, last week, many felt, including me, that Buffalo was robbed against New England.
3rd and long. Shotgun for San Diego. Whelihan with time. Guns it. Incomplete. Intended for Michael Rooks. And Whelihan has 5 straight incompletions. San Diego will have to punt.
And it looked like Sean Barber actually got a hand on that as Blanchard. We mentioned before the injury to the Washington kicker Matt Turk, and now Blanchard warming up on the sideline. So Turk appeared to pull a hamstring on that last punt.
Darren Bennett on the punt for San Diego on 4th and 12. Brian Mitchell tried to kick away from him, and Mitchell lets it bounce. Might have hit a Redskin, and Mitchell wisely falls on it. The Redskins will keep it, but they'll start deep in their own territory. .14:04 left. We're tied at 17, and John Dockery, this could have been a big play.
It certainly does. If you watch this ball, it actually hits number 25, Denton's, the back of his heel. Watch right here, the back of his heel. It hits it, and wisely, for the Washington Redskins, Brian Mitchell gets on that ball and recovers.
Dent was trying to block Scott Turner. So from his own end zone, Green will throw. And one hops it short, incomplete, intended for Leslie Shepard. Well, Monday on CBS, a doctor is teaching medical school students to be the best, but when an intern misses a diagnosis, it could cost a patient his life. Ken Olin stars in an all-new episode of L.A. Doctors, Monday on CBS. By the way, that was officially a 52-yard punt.
And a heads-up play by Brian Mitchell, or else San Diego might have recovered deep in their territory.
Terry Allen, setback on the counter, nice hole, and Allen gets a little breathing room out to the 5. That'll bring up 3rd and 7. Greg Jackson made the stop.
Tries to get a little help from James Jenkins, a tight end in H-back in motion, makes a block, and then Allen, back after 4 weeks with an ankle injury, not showing a lot of ill effects from that, picks up some yards to give him a little more room down there. Still a critical 3rd down play for Washington.
Now, and still the Redskins leading rusher coming in with 616 yards. Shepard is the man in motion. Green straight back. Floats it to Shepard. He extends and has it in and out of his hands. Wants a flag, and there isn't one. Jimmy Spencer had him stride for stride.
This is just a quick takeoff float pattern to a wide receiver who is not real big at 5'11". Spencer reads it and has great position, is watching the receiver until he looks, and then, boy, Leslie Shepard lays out, gets his hands on it, can't pull it in.
Well, Kerry Blanchard has come out to do the punting with the hamstring problem for Matt Turk. This is high and short. The Chargers are going to have great field position.
Subtle things, Bill Macatee, can make a difference. Matt Turk is hurt. Kerry Blanchard comes out, comes up with a short kick. San Diego has good field position when we come back.
The word is that Matt Turk has a strained left calf and is doubtful to return. The Chargers will get it at the 34 after the 29-yard punt. Fletcher. Caught in the backfield. A loss of 2. Derek Smith made the stop. It'll be 2nd and 12.
A lot of pressure on the Washington defense, and Derek Smith reads that play, dashes through the hole to make the play. And, you know, they're going to have that kind of play from their linebackers like Derek Smith in the second year out of Arizona State, because the kicking game, as you mentioned, with Turk gone with a calf pull and Blanchard not kicking real well, could be a problem.
Norv Turner told us Smith has been his most consistent player defensively. Pass is complete to Freddie Jones. Gets it to the 31.
June Jones, the interim head coach, and this is what June Jones would like to do. He'd like to rub out, get the eraser, get rid of that, so that he becomes just the head coach next year. Of course, he took over from Kevin Gilbride middle of the year, and hopes that the San Diego team at 5-7 can run the table and maybe make the playoffs.
3rd and 7. 3 wide receivers in for San Diego. Whelihan will throw it. Tipped at the line of scrimmage and incomplete. Jamal Duff got a hand on it.
What a response by the Washington defense. They get terrible field position, and yet they're able to hold on. Look at Jamal Duff. I mean, he's one of those big guys. Got a couple of sacks, 6'7", puts that right hand up, tips the ball, and they hold the San Diego Chargers to an attempted field goal. The Washington Redskins defense does.
John Carney will try one from 49 yards out. Has made them from 32, 27, and 41 yards. It's up and blocked. And again, it was Jamal Duff. But there's a flag down.
Stanley Richard came up with the ball, but the official immediately signaled stoppage of play, and there is a flag. We'll see what it is.
A delay of game.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
So June Jones says, look, I had one block. They moved us back 5 yards. I'm not going to take a chance to try to kick a 50-yard field goal.
Well, Carney has a long of 54 this year. Darren Bennett will punt it. High kick. Fair catch called for and made by Mitchell at the 8-yard line, and that's where the Redskins will start once again deep in their own territory after the 30-yard punt.
Okay, people, can we?
Well, it was a moot point after the delay of game penalty, but let's take another look at the blocked field goal.
The field goal actually looked like it was a low kick. You can see right there, it goes off sort of the head or back of one of the players, and Duff may have gotten a hand on it, so it was actually a low kick. So June Jones said, hey, I'm not going to try a 54-yarder, especially against a team who has an injured punter. I'll play the field position game.
From the 8, Allen stopped at the line of scrimmage. So under 11 and a half minutes remaining, tied at 17. There's Trent Govea, the longtime Washington Redskin. Meanwhile, Matt Turk doesn't look like he'll be back. So the pressure to punt will once again fall on Kerry Blanchard. Pickup of 1 second and 9. Green. Picked off. And he held on.
Greg Jackson.
His 4th interception of the season.
You know what Trent Green did? He looked all the way and threw into double coverage. I mean, this is something that as you get more experience, you won't do. But a little play action fake there to Allen, and then watch. He throws into double coverage. and it's Greg Jackson stepping in front of the receiver. And he's going once again to the well. Leslie Shepard, his favorite receiver, especially with Michael Westbrook hurt. Great anticipation by the free safety, Greg Jackson.
That is the 30th interception of Greg Jackson's career in his 10th year out of LSU.
Chargers, when they don't turn it over, they win. When they do, they lose.
Fletcher, big hole. And he has it inside the 10.
That's close.
Stanley Richard, the free safety, finally rode him down. But that gives you an idea of how strong Terrell Fletcher is for 5'8", 196.
Rode him down is exactly, looked like a bull rider as Stanley Richard at the end of this play jumps on Fletcher's back. And Fletcher said, that's fine. I'll just carry you for another 5 yards. And I will, get close to a first down.
Fletcher over 100 yards, 26 carries, 105 yards for Terrell Fletcher. 2nd and 1 from the 9. Fletcher moves the pile to the 5.
We haven't talked much about the offensive line of San Diego, which is doing a great job today. But on that left side, they are really solid with Aaron Taylor at the left guard, number 73, and John Jackson, the free agent from Pittsburgh, at the left tackle. So they have a real strong offensive line, especially on that left side.
So 1st and goal from the 6. Wendell Davis is in the backfield with Fletcher. Fletcher moves inside the 5, down to the 3. Derek Smith made the stop for Washington.
I think at the end of that play, Fletcher was saying, hey, wait a minute, someone grabbed my face mask, but hey, I'm over 110 yards. What do I care? 28 carries, more than I normally do, and more than I would do if Natron Means were healthy.
Said he had to get ready to carry it 15 to 20 times a game.
He's beyond that, well beyond that, and having a terrific afternoon for San Diego.
2nd and goal from the 3. Again, it's Fletcher and Davis in the backfield. Fletcher down to the 1. Greg Whelihan has not been spectacular, but has not made many mistakes.
Workmanlike performance by the quarterback. Nice balance by the San Diego offense, relying on their run game in Terrell Fletcher against a very weak Washington Redskin run defense.
3rd and goal, and they spot it just inside the 2. Fletcher's the lone setback. 2 wide receivers to the left. Whelihan will keep it, and he's stopped at the line of scrimmage. Stanley Richard came up from his free safety spot to make the stop.
What kind of a play is this? Let's say, I mean, I have to see it again because I don't understand exactly what Whelihan's trying to do. They're running the option, and the quarterback at 6'5", 215 pounds, kind of a string bean kind of guy, tries to take it upfield against Stanley Richard and a pretty solid, tries to sneak it in, but doesn't do it. Big Dave McCarney, though, 3 for 3 on field goals.
This from 20 yards. It's up. And no good.
Wow.
He had only missed 2 field goal tries all year coming in.
Remember, he had one blocked moments ago. It was inconsequential because of the penalty, but this, everything of the hold appears good, and it just misses. And they don't take advantage of that turnover, the interception, and you see the left goal post just outside. Wow.
Hold it. That's his first miss from inside of 40 yards this year, and that has June Jones shaking his head. So a big break for the Redskins. 1st and 10 from the 20. Little pump fake from Green up the sideline for Shepard, and that was nearly picked off. Greg Jackson got a hand on it.
Greg Jackson playing the free safety position, helping out the corner on this, made a great move on the ball as they tried to, Trent Green tried to run it out and up, but Jackson with terrific movement. Shepard, once again, he seems to be the only guy that Green's going to. He has a step, but you see the free safety come over there, Greg Jackson, to make the play.
Jimmy Spencer, who's starting for the injured Terrence Shaw, had the initial coverage. So 2nd and 10 from the 20. Allen Davis are in the backfield. Play action. Green steps up. Incomplete. Intended for Chris Thomas. No flag.
And you hear the fans here at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. They wanted a flag. They won't get it. Trent Green also thought it was a flag. Take a look at his reaction right here. Say, all right, flag. Maybe we should put a striped shirt on him and make him an official. Take a look at it again. I don't know about that. Of course, I'm a little partial to the defensive backs, but I thought it was a good play by Charles Dimry.
3rd and 10.
You know what's interesting? The only receiver he's going to is Leslie Shepard. I know Westbrook is gone, but that's the only receiver he's looking for at the moment.
Green. Incomplete, and once again almost picked off, and he tried to find Shepard.
Jimmy Spencer all over Shepard, but when you're looking at one receiver the whole time, the defense knows that, you know, he is your go-to guy with Westbrook out, but boy, you have to consider the other receivers, or at least maybe your tight end. That's a nice play. That's a real nice play by Jimmy Spencer on Shepard.
So we'll see Kerry Blanchard again. Filling in for Matt Turk. Tony Gator is the deep man for San Diego, standing back at his own 44. Not a bad punt from Blanchard. From the 39, Gator still on his feet. Spins and out of bounds at the 40. Darryl Pounds made the stop, and a 41-yard punt. The lineup tonight on CBS. Why would a high school student who says he revered his English teacher end up murdering him? 60 Minutes tonight. And can Monica help the town outcast on a movie Touched by an Angel? Debbie Reynolds and Neil Patrick Harris star in the movie critics are calling a contemporary twist on It's a Wonderful Life. The Christmas Wish. That's all tonight on CBS.
June Jones, knowing that San Diego didn't take advantage of that last Greg Jackson interception, hopes that his offense can put something on the board. They just missed a field goal.
Fletcher. Nice run, a pickup of 6 to the 46. Chris Dishman made the stop. It'll be 2nd and 4. Now Norv Turner has been through an awful lot this season. The 0-7 start. All of the injuries.
Such high expectations coming into this year, and a disastrous start, as you mentioned. He's starting to put it back together, though, in Washington here.
Davis and Fletcher are in the backfield. Short drop for Whelihan. Caught, first down. This is Ricks, the rookie, up the sidelines and out of bounds. Michael Ricks out of Stephen F. Austin. Big, strong receiver, 6'5", 235, and a gain of 39.
He's being covered by Chris Dishman, all-pro cornerback in just a couple of years ago. Gets pushed off a little bit, and then the cardinal sin of a defensive back. If you can't make a play on the ball, you better make the tackle. Unfortunately for him, Stanley Richard comes over and knocks Ricks out of bounds.
And again, the Redskin defense will be asked to make a stand. From the 15, 1st and 10. Fletcher. No gain. Mark Boutte met him at the line of scrimmage.
Boy, for a moment there, Bill, it looked like Fletcher had a wide open space, but Boutte clogged the hole at 6'4", 307 pounds. Showed some good mobility, and he clogged the hole before Fletcher could get through. See there? Fights off the blocker and then makes the play. Aaron Taylor was working on him, but Boutte fought him off to make the tackle on Fletcher.
118 yards 31 carries. 2nd and 10. Whelihan had a man, Ryan Thelwell, and Thelwell couldn't hang on.
Trying to throw it out in front of a big receiver. Thelwell, 6'2", 190 pounds, a rookie, tries to just lay it out there in the hopes that he can make the play and that Darryl Pounds won't be able to cover him. Whelihan knew it was there. He said, oh my, I just didn't throw it too far.
So 3rd and 10. Delayed draw to Fletcher. And he'll be short of the first down by about a yard. Darryl Pounds made the stop.
No question here. I mean, there's no question you got to go to the field goal. And despite the fact that, you know, Carney had one blocked a little while ago and that he missed one only moments ago on the last drive, you still have to go to your kicker and get the points on the board.
Clock is running, under 5 minutes to play. This will be a 25-yard field goal attempt. Carney already with 3 today. The kick is up, and this time it's good. So the Chargers with a 3-point lead. But it may be significant that the Redskin defense once again kept San Diego out of the end zone.
It's absolutely significant because, I mean, obviously there's plenty of time left and plenty of timeouts. The Redskins have 3 timeouts to either tie this game or go ahead. So that's not a question of time. It's just a question of whether Trent Green can pick up this team and move it down the field against a very good defense and #1 defense in the NFL.
Well, a lot of things have to happen for San Diego to make the playoffs. Starting with, they need to run the table. Here's their schedule.
They're 5-7. If they win today, they're 6-7. They can win 3 more. That's 9-7. Hey, it gives them a good shot at a playoff spot, and certainly they can. I mean, Seattle's beatable. Oakland, they've all, you know, Oakland's beatable, and Arizona. So they believe they can beat those 3 teams on their schedule.
So John Carney with 4 field goals will kick it off. And you would assume will kick away from Brian Mitchell. Stephen Davis is back there with him. There's the drive, 6 plays, 53 yards. A gust of wind with 4:31 left to play. Remember, Brian Mitchell already has 1 kickoff return for a touchdown. That's 101 yards in the first half. Mitchell takes it at the 2. Balls across the 20 to the 23. That's where the Redskins will start 1st and 10. And coming up next, game 2 of our doubleheader. Some of you will see Kansas City and Denver. Others will see the Ravens and the Oilers. Check your local listings. That's all next. The NFL on CBS. A doubleheader Sunday. And Brian Mitchell stays in the game.
They need some firepower. That's why they're leaving Mitchell in the game. He had a good first half, second half, real problems. Only 311 in interception.
Redskins with only 29 total yards before that play here in the second half. That's Steven Alexander, the tight end.
Exactly what I was going to say. He's got to find someone else rather than Leslie Shepard. And the big target is his tight end, Steven Alexander, who's down on the field right now. But if you're the quarterback, you can't keep throwing to only 1 receiver. I know Michael Westbrook is hurt with a jammed neck and out of the game for the second half. But, boy, you know, get it to your back. Get it to Stephen Davis. Get it to Skip Hicks, Brian Mitchell, or your tight end. Get it to someone else because Shepard is being dogged all over the field because they know that's where you're going.
Now let's take another look. See if we can pick up the injury. That's Gerald Dixon who made the hit. And then He got nailed from behind. It was John Perella and kind of bent backwards.
And I think it was that second hit was the one that may have caused the problem in the back. Totally legal hit. When you're standing up as a receiver, you know, fighting for that extra yardage and people are coming in at full speed, that's when things can happen.
Well, he's now sitting up.
Look who's standing behind North Turner. That's Gus Frerotte, who started the year as a quarterback against the Giants, had a horrendous time.
Injured his shoulder in week 1.
And before that, Jeff Hostetler was actually hurt at the last preseason game. So it's kind of been a quarterback juggle. North Turner went quickly to Trent Green, and he's been the quarterback since that first game. Sean Alexander up and walking off the field. It's interesting, Gus Frerotte, hungry, tough. I was talking to Sonny Jurgensen before the game, and he said maybe Frerotte, after he got that big $18 million 3-year contract, got hit a few times, maybe became a little antsy in the pocket and wasn't willing to take the hit and do the things you have to do to win in the NFL.
Shepard, Thomas, and Thrash are the receivers. That's complete to Chris Thomas. Scott Turner made the stop for San Diego. Under 4 minutes remaining. 1st and 10 for Washington.
You know, for San Diego, it means they can win here today. Their playoff hopes alive. For North Turner and for Charlie Casserly, the general manager, it means that they get a strong run to the finish, that they will stay on as head coach and GM.
Stephen Alexander is right back in there. Trent Green straight back, complete to Thomas, and he's out to the 45. Rodney Harrison made the stop.
And Trent Green is looking for those other receivers now. He's not just going to Shepard. He's trying to find his tight end, and he's going to Chris Thomas, 3rd-year player out of Cal Poly. And you have to move that ball around. The good quarterbacks in the NFL move the ball around to the different receivers. I'm surprised he hasn't thrown a little more to his backs out of the backfield, especially Brian Mitchell.
From the 48, Green tried to hit Mitchell that time and incomplete. They had the matchup they really wanted, Junior Seau and Mitchell. Anytime they can get Mitchell on a linebacker, that's an advantageous situation.
Well, yes, that's absolutely true. That's what they want, and it's just the ball is thrown a little high, but it's dropped. Of course, that's not just any linebacker. He may be, in my estimation, the best linebacker of the decade of the 90s. In his 9th year, I mean, he's been spectacular. 7 Pro Bowls.
2nd and 10. That was intended for Shepard, and Shepard slipped. Jimmy Spencer had pretty good coverage.
Pressure coming from Junior Seau on the blitz from that left side, and that forced him to throw the ball too soon. It's Frank Green.
3:18 remaining, 3rd and 10.
And here comes Seau. I mean, this is a defense designed, and you see how he avoids the block of the back. Still, he didn't get to the quarterback. There was enough pressure to force Trent Green to throw it early.
2 wide receivers to the right side. Green tipped away. Intended for Chris Thomas.
Looked like Gerald Dixon got a hand on that as he was dropping back into coverage. Take a look at it right here. He gets enough of a drop, the linebacker does, to just get movement on the ball and knock it away, Gerald Dixon.
And then once again, you'll see Kerry Blanchard, who had a 41-yard punt his last time out. Tony Gator is back deep for San Diego, standing at his own 11. Washington with all 3 of their timeouts remaining. And another pretty good punt from Blanchard, and that takes a solid Washington bounce and goes out of bounds at the 10. A 42-yard punt for Kerry Blanchard, filling in for the injured Matt Turk. Here are the standings in the AFC West. San Diego, the problem for the Chargers is their record within the division.
Their record in the division is 1-5, so it is a real problem. But still, so many things can happen. If you are 9-7 and you're June Jones, let's say you have a reasonable shot at a playoff.
Crowd wants a defensive stand here. Fletcher. Stopped at the 10.
Washington just has to shut down San Diego. They have to come take some chances, come with the pressure, come with a run blitz, make sure you get penetration to shut down Fletcher the way they did here. Send the safety Stanley Richard, make the play, force Whelihan and the Chargers to dig themselves out of this hole. If they don't, you'll get the ball with great field position, a chance for a field goal or even a touchdown.
Doubleheader Sunday here on CBS coming up. Many of you will see Kansas City and Denver. Some of you will see Baltimore at Tennessee.
You know, you look at disappointments in the NFL, and certainly Washington expected a lot more. So did Kansas City. They could get a measure of revenge today. They're 5-7. If they could knock off Denver, it would make their season, the Chiefs' season.
2:59 remaining. 2nd and 10. Fletcher's the lone setback. Play action. Whelihan under pressure. Oh! Had the first down, and Freddie Jones dropped it.
Whelihan under some heavy pressure makes a good throw to his tight end, dragging across the middle, and that was a catchable ball. Take a look, a little play action fake to Fletcher, rolling out, gets the ball off under pressure. That was Greg Jones, and watch this, the ball is catchable right there, and the tight end Freddie Jones just can't bring it in, and now it's 3rd and 10.
Freddie Jones came in as the Chargers' leading receiver with 41 receptions. 3rd and 10 from the 10. Fletcher, nothing. The Redskins will get another chance.
And Bill Macatee, you say, why in the world do you do that? Give it to Terrell Fletcher, 3rd and 10 down there. Here's the reason you do it, because you have the #1 defense in the NFL. And you know what? You don't want to take any chances. You're going to live or die with Junior Seau and your defense. That's why he plays it safe here.
Jamal Duff got there first. And it'll be 4th and 14. San Diego with 2 timeouts remaining. The Redskins have 1. Darren Bennett, who brought his wife to San Diego for their honeymoon so he could try out for the Chargers.
Bennett under pressure in the back of the end zone. And I like how they list it when they say college. For Bennett, they say none.
Brian Mitchell is back at his own 48. Great kick. Mitchell retreats to the 42. Little stutter step, has some room, and the Redskins will have a shot in San Diego territory. A 57-yard punt. Mitchell with the 19-yard return.
And Mitchell does what all good punt returners do. When he sees that little break up the middle, he just takes those first few steps, bursts up the middle, and picks up good yardage. Great field position for his Washington Redskins.
They spot it at the 44, and that's where it'll be 1st and 10 for Trent Green. Norv Turner joined the Redskins in '94 after 3 years as the offensive coordinator in Dallas. Says he's tried to take something positive from this season, although at times it's been pretty tough.
Said he learned about adversity when they were 0-7, but was so happy he didn't allow this team to just fold its tent and go home.
Well, some confusion in the formation, and the Redskins have to waste a timeout.
Their last timeout, not just a timeout, their last timeout. Sure, there's plenty of time left. 2:34, you're down by 3. You have great field position, but you know what? You don't want to do things like that, which make it a little more difficult for you. Yeah, you have the 2-minute warning. It's not about time, but you might need that timeout to set something up.
It looked like they were trying to move 3 receivers to the left side. Well, coming up, second game of our doubleheader. Some of you will see Kansas City and Denver. Others, Baltimore and Tennessee. The NFL on CBS doubleheader Sunday.
Denver, boy, isn't it a treat watching Terrell Davis? Oh, is he something special? Yet this defense was able to shut him down twice under 100 yards.
Mitchell taking his way inside the 40, down to the 38.
This is a huge moment for the Washington Redskins and North Turner. They've won 3 of their last 5 games. They're 3-9. A win today would keep them on the right track, start to build some momentum during a terrible season.
Pickup of 6, 2nd and 4. Green. Caught. That's Thomas. Jimmy Spencer brought him down at the 20 after a pickup of 18.
Jimmy Spencer was thinking the outside move, but what Chris Thomas did, he went down and spun inside, caught the ball over the middle, picks up the first down. Washington's on the move.
Turner and his offense moving the football on the NFL's #1 ranked defense.
And the gregarious, usually smiling Trent Green against the warrior, the gladiator on defense, the heart and soul of that San Diego defense, Junior Seau.
1st and 10 from the 20. Green pumps it, has a wide open touchdown. Leslie Shepard, his 7th touchdown of the season.
It was the pump fake that did it, allowed Leslie Shepard to go through his slot position, break to the outside, and then take it upfield. San Diego defense bid on the pump. Touchdown Shepard. Washington takes the lead.
Blanchard with the extra point. 1:54 left to play. 24-20 Redskins.
And June Jones wondering if his offense, which has been relatively non-productive all season long, can come back. But Leslie Shepard just does an out and up. Watch the pump fake right here. Right there, the pump fake. San Diego bid on it, and he's wide open, Shepard, because Jimmy Spencer was looking at the quarterback and not watching the receiver.
Remember, the Redskins were short a receiver anyway. Albert Connell was out this week. They lost Michael Westbrook. So in essence, they were playing with Shepard, Thomas, and Thrash. And Shepard and Thrash both have touchdown receptions. The Chargers with 2 timeouts remaining. 3-play drive.
Everybody's all down to bed. Some happy Redskins, and there hasn't been a lot of joy in Mudville this year for the Washington Redskins. Coming in here at 3-9, North Turner expected so much more of this season. But right now, a happy group.
Tony Gator back deep for San Diego. To the 15, has some room across the 30. And out of bounds just short of the 40. Brett Conway, the kicker, drove him out of bounds after a return of 33 yards. And now Craig Whelihan will try to work some magic.
Plenty of time left. 1:48. You're down by 4. But this is good field position And but for the kicker knocking him out of bounds, that might have gone even further. But that was a terrific return. You have the ball on the 39-yard line. Yes, San Diego needs a touchdown. A field goal does you no good whatsoever. But see what happens to June Jones and his Chargers.
Whelihan has 2 timeouts remaining and 1:48 on the clock. Out of the shotgun. Pressured. Now has time as he steps outside. Incomplete, intended for Michael Ricks, who was locked up with Darrell Green.
And Ricks and Green were in a war downfield. Ricks wasn't really expecting it. He was probably the third option for Whelihan. Whelihan got away from the pressure, couldn't find anyone else, and just threw it down there and said, heck, maybe the big man will take it away from the veteran Green. Didn't happen. Overthrown.
2nd and 10. Ricks and Jones are split out to the left side. Bryant still to the right. Whelihan guns it. Incomplete. Intended for Freddie Jones and threw it behind him.
Not a bad idea going to the tight end over the middle, see if you can pick up the first down. And to a big target. The ball is just thrown behind the tight end. One of the Redskins got a hand on it. That was number 35, Evans. 3rd down and 10. Pressure on Whelihan. He needs to pick up that first down.
Again, Jones and Ricks split out left from the shotgun. Incomplete. It'll be 4th down, intended for Charlie Jones. And Whelihan is slow getting up.
Pain etched on Whelihan's face. Not only because he was knocked to the turf, but he knew he threw that ball too low and too hard for Charlie Jones coming across the middle. Jones' favorite target, but watch, the ball is thrown too long. He takes a big hit and gets a headache from that one.
5 straight incomplete passes. Chargers are 4 of 10 on 4th down this year.
Moment of truth.
From the 39. Whelihan. Caught. First down, San Diego. Again, it's Michael Ricks, the rookie.
Michael Ricks with that good size reminds you a little of those Minnesota receivers in terms of size. 6'5", 237. Goes up and pulls down that 4th down pass. Good throw by Whelihan. Huge play.
Pickup of 25. The clock is running. From the 36, 1st and 10. Whelihan to Fletcher. That was almost picked off. Stop for a loss.
Whelihan wisely calls a timeout. They had 2. So it's not about timeouts and so much about time. It's about moving that ball down for a touchdown.
Chargers with 1 timeout remaining. 53 seconds left on the clock.
June Jones does not have to try to get it all at once. He doesn't have the big downtown receivers that you might need in a situation like this. Charlie Jones has got good speed and can go down, but they'll be doubling him. So you might want to try to go underneath to Ricks or to Bewell to get the first down and then take your shots at the end zone.
A loss of 6. 2nd and 16. From the 42. Whelihan. Intercepted. Leomont Evans. Again.
Freddie Jones has had an up and a down game. Whelihan throws his ball to his big tight end. He's being harassed over the middle. As he turns around, he can't get focused quickly enough to make the play. Sean Barber was all over him. And this game is, for all intents and purposes, over.
So the Redskins will go to 4-9. The Chargers to 5-8.
And certainly Norv Turner salvaging something from this season after an 0-7 start. His team will have won 4 of their last 6 games. They get some momentum and show that, you know what, next year might be a good season for the Washington Redskins. On the other side, June Jones, hey, playoff hopes gone.
Disappointment from the Chargers, and credit the Redskins. They moved the football against a very difficult defense when they had to. Celebrating here at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. So for John Dockery, this is Bill Macatee saying so long from Jack Kent Cooke Stadium, where the Redskins have beaten the Chargers. Coming up next, it's game 2 of our doubleheader. Some of you will see Kansas City and Denver. Others will see Baltimore and Tennessee. Check your local listings.